Cho All right, children have class in the next room.
Yeah. 마게semje 탐제기 통주 토절라나 매바 양탁바 소베 산제지 공방람보지 진내장 토바르 자티 쳬드에네 송랍군지 닝보 네 뒤바 장족 남는 점모 세년베 꼴롱 군조 그런 반놈 세 따버리 휴스
Let me remind all of ourselves in the beginning to cultivate the bodhicitta motivation or the altruistic motivation seeking complete enlightenment for the sake of all other sentient beings. And with that kind of motivation, we should participate in this London teaching on the stages of path enlightenment that brings together the essential points of path and practice.
Oh, 대단다. something like 뭐기 센자 담배초지 참니 아니다. 나도 남릉 뭐 매자 활동 고인 버 활동 그 고제 다디 탁보래 임바이나야다 니네 마치 휴가제나 현장들도 거바리잖아. 다또 이렇게 가진 게 아니 비게 강장민이 가득라. 아니 현지 비게 각자 직사네 제주 섬된 세가지고 이렇게 매세네 때까는 다 되는 말 tum무 되는 말 틀니 깨져 망부 세기 마용 되지 그래. 세상 다단 데 가르쳐 거 알았잖아. 콘도 샤베 아니 샤베 쓰로나 르바 투주베 아니 비게 데바야 두버리스 두지기 르바 투주베 갑자기 두버리스 야지 참 대인바. 대단한 쓰기였다. 다딘데 인산스 대단한 밀라스고벤 뒤제 디다니스 랑킹 오토베라게 뒤아 마두블라스 믹스여라다 믹스네 다 공공에 날이 밀라스고베스 다 속에 날 다첨부 싶어라 봐 군도비 추 탐지에 숨네 디리다 속에는 다첨부래 제대로 랑킹 오토베라게 랑기 텐니 뒤에 랑온이 둬봐 rangi tenyi ji tuba, rangshen ji tuba, te ngo tu tupti yore besana, tumme se se, tante ta che tukwa, tetana melo soba duje na rangi, duje tetana rangi ngo tuba rangshen tu, ma tup la se re, tumme bade ta che, duje tije ti. Tene ti sungu re, ta te ngo, rangi ngo tuba rangshen tu tupyo mare se, te pa ta ji che brava ta. Yana ta migla sukben duje eni pige kunzube chui tada tamje te eni pige chi chunyi la rangshin taduk xiabi ba rangshin la mangbo yore chidang rangshin mangbo yore te rangshin taduk rabu te nyuko la sukbe ta chida nangi ngobu tingdo rangshin ten pabungdo rangshin taduk te chunyi te xiagu yore tela rangshin sikires rangshin taduk chunyi la sukba rangshin te rangshin taduk yinba rangshin sukba teriyang matupes wa duje migla sokba cherang chu nam chunyi la rangi ngote be rangshen de matuba taje yimba yina ya chunyi la rangshen de dube ani chunyi la rangshen tadu dube de yang matube rangshen khande yo matuba ta tondom de be tamba ni chunyi la rangshen de cheba jabga de dub de rangshen de joji chum oda alita man thag yusre ta nimba seto inda te ta kanje shen ma shen rangshen ge rangi ngo tuwe migla sokbe sok chuo namde rangi ngo tuwe rangshin ya tuki midu chunyi la rangshin taduk chebe te ngo ya tuki midu xene adi songyo ar todo nabdi. What?
Today, we are continuing our teaching and discussion from the later part of Great Lamrim text, which deals with Vipassana or special insight, in Tibetan called Plakton. So we are on page 199, volume number 3 in English translation. So we have been, I think, for a couple of weeks, discussing the need to identify precisely the object of negation or what is being negated or refuted. And many viewpoints have been proffered, what that object of negation is or should be. Okay? And one of the things that we have talked about quite a bit is, according to a certain position, that we talked about three qualities. So they said if those three qualities were present in a phenomenon, and then that phenomenon would be what we considered as the object of negation, according to our opponent. Okay. So we have, refuted that position because those qualities are very much present in what we call the emptiness, the ultimate nature of things. So we are not going to refute, the ultimate nature of things called emptiness. Okay. So we are on page 199, and I think the second and third paragraph from the top. Okay. There is a reference to commentary on the 60 stanzas of reasoning, and in which it is really stated that all conventional phenomena, such as eyes, the visual consciousness we're seeing, they do not have any intrinsic reality. Okay? No conventional phenomena exists in and of itself or from its own side. The Tibetan term is called ranganutuba, something existing from its side. Okay? Or rangshinjituba, something existing intrinsically. There's no such thing. Okay? Or that something exists by way of its own characteristics. The Tibetan term is called rangitsinjituba. Okay? So these are the terms used, to mean basically the same thing, that there isn't anything that exists intrinsically in and of itself. And not only have we refuted that notion of intrinsic reality in conventional phenomena, but even the ultimate nature of phenomena, which we identify as emptiness, shunyata or sunyata, okay, that does not have intrinsic reality either. Emptiness does not exist intrinsically or in and of itself. Okay? So that's the main point that's being made here. No.
어디지? 하고 앉았어. 모두 와서 통통 땜바네 이 준이라랑 힌도 제바 대를 줍지 않았어. 다 최탐제 땜바니 있을 통탐 땜바다 군도 땜바니 있을 통탐 땜바세니데 라힌 타둑 대도 짱 다딘 족제라고 지 가리 요기 어렸어베이나 라게된 족제네 아니 비게다지 공도 휴바나 힌게 다시게 틱틱이 라힌다니 주민 다시야 돼. 즉 야직 这些呀，这个说就这些家里你让现在随便这边是呢，这说不马的意思，这就送给人这个吧，这说不给马的意思，多么你的可能让现那么大大个就是这的话的，中你自己要的，现在没对吧？现在没对吧呢？让给我这边让现在中间就没别，现在没对吧？你，但让给我这边让现在。 중세에 매배 다니도 도바tamos 대세야 가르치기였던 얘기기 밀러속에 소속 추티게 다니도 가르쳐거다 랑게 모르베 라제테 마도 통담템바 가르쳐거다 뒤똥이 기티 가르쳐가 모아이 마도 다 매버베스나 매버 마레스 거에서 마도 매버 마레스 티가리스나 데 랑게 모르베 라제테 다른 중세지 요 말티 이나 매번 나봐 지den게 탄이도 요래 탄이스야 돼 가르치기로서 다지 입다 가도 컨디치 베나 데리 랑소랑소 디 야야 디 요르마도 저기 피기 바지 델리 현지 피 딱동으로 붙이 봐 제니 제쪽이나 얘네 아니야 요 말이스 어디 송구에 살아봐 탄이도 요봐 탄이도 줘봐 땀모 디 가르쳐야 하잖아 솔로스에 미글로스에 추트 다스기였다 라겐이 뭐 강대야 마두비 임베 인다 네버베스는 데 매버 마레스 라겐이 뭐 강대야 그거 마두비 이나야 디 타인 점도 요아레스야지 어디 숨고 요사래
Categorically stated, everything that exists we call a phenomena or phenomenon. Belongs to one of the two truths. The conventional truth we call Khensur in Tibetan, Samvritti Satya, and ultimate truth we call it Tendam Temba or Pramartha Satya. Okay, so there are only two kinds of truths, and everything that exists must be one of those two truths. Okay, there is no third truth or the option left here. Okay, and so when we look at conventional phenomena, they don't exist intrinsically in and of themselves. And conventional phenomena are not the ultimate nature of their own. Okay. Now, does that mean that conventional phenomena don't exist at all? Because what we said is they don't exist intrinsically. So does that mean they don't exist at all? We also said that conventional phenomena are not the final nature of their own. Okay. So does that mean they don't exist? The answer is no. Okay. Conventional phenomena, from the very moment they come into existence, they come in the nature of what we call emptiness, okay, which is the final nature of all phenomena. So we identify emptiness or shunyata as the ultimate truth, the final nature of phenomena, but this emptiness is not an artificially created or constructed reality. Okay, it is natural, natural mode of existence of things. Are you with me? Okay, so it's not an artificially created. It's not like Buddha said, okay, I'm going to be genius. Well, he didn't say that. My footnote, right? Buddha didn't say, okay, I'm a genius mind, and so I say emptiness is reality. No, the way anything comes into existence is in the nature of emptiness. And so from that perspective, what we're saying is that we cannot find any phenomenon that does not exist dependently. Okay, everything is dependently existent, if you will. And so which basically means that things exist as mere terms and labels. Okay, and there's nothing more, there's nothing less. If we are going to kind of seek, to find something existing ultimately, or what should I say, is ultimately, we are not going to find anything. Okay? Nothing is findable under ultimate analysis, but that does not mean they don't exist at all. Okay? So we can just pick any conventional phenomena. We're talking about different kinds of shapes. What are the shapes? These are the designs we human beings have conceptually, agreed upon, established, thought about. Okay, and so there is no such shapes that exist, whatever they are, from their own side. We human beings design them, and we label them, and we said this is round, this is oblong, whatever. Right? He didn't use those examples, but by the way, I'm throwing those examples, right? So which means that all phenomena are mere labels. The Tibetan term is called taksam. Tak means to impute, to label. Sam means merely. There's nothing more, nothing less. It's just mere labels. Yeah, that's how things exist.
다 제단 탄인세야지 기다게 인피게 다 개체효 즉 차기와리 덴바레 모두 제딘데 인도 탄인도 매번 따반인데 멤버 탄인도 요리스 방아도 간다는 자비네 간다 탄인도 요리 간다 인피게 제 제두기나 베지리지 많이 괜찮지 레디 인피나야 디 간다 매번 많이 탄인도 요리스 단자던 건물로 대승 요르다 가서 기부 삼에 추면 매매롱면 남기면 기부 삼에 추면 매매롱면 남기면 아니 난가서 가서 많이 기부 삼에 추마이 되네 가서 매달롱도 남기다 감정 되버데 많이 텔레힘이 기부 강신의 송 요르다 기부에 니 사이 말이 죄 말이 매 말이 롱에 말이 남기에 말이 다 델레힘이 기부지 가와도와 세운디 되게 샴대가 마치부 감동 되게 잘했던 거야. 다디 간도 지금기 냠시더데 개체가 지금 맞다. 기부 감동 되게 잘한다. 멤버 짓다 와라. 대시 감내들에 아니 뉴스리 한다 니도 해서였다. 기부생이 때 간대적이 자기 인사나 감 레레버 텐데 NPH 샤마송아 얘기네. 기부 싸면 주면 매멜롱면 낭바 나피 많이 끊배는 델리힘이 기부 강신 송송아 다 기부 등이디 가야 된데지 여 말하면 여 기부 감중 뉴블 때네 딱 배잖아 기부식이 감중 뉴블 때 감중 챙겨받아 가지 특별히 휴타르래 기부생이 때 감중 뉴블 때네 딱 쌈디 기부 전에 탄이도 어떤 요구돼 탄이죠 맞아서 탄이 기분 잡을 차 전에 되기다. 맞아 밑에 기분을 차지는 감중 뉴블 때는 딱 베기 아니 비게 찍다 딱삼tam래 아니 기분 좋도 그래서 어탄이도 된 좋도 그래서 숨겨왔다.
So it is very vital for us to understand compatibility of emptiness and conventional existence. Okay. When we talk about emptiness, we are talking about something existing, dependently, or something that lacks intrinsic existence, right? But the lack of intrinsic existence does not translate into complete non-existence, because conventionally things do exist. So it's very important for us to understand the compatibility or the harmony, between emptiness and conventional existence. So if you take a person as an example, Khensur in Tibetan, right? A person or self as an example. Yeah. A person or self exists. But then if you ask the question, what is it or who is it? And we try to look for the person, right? Dissecting anatomically and cognitively the whole person. That is this person, this part of the person, right? This person is constituted by the 6 elements, the earth, water, fire, consciousness, space, and all of those things. None of these elements that constitute a person is the person. Yeah. So is person different from these 6 elements of himself or herself? Well, there isn't another person than that. That's what Nagarjuna has said, as Khensur has quoted the lines from his memory. Nagarjuna has very clearly stated that a person is constituted by, if you will, these elements, such as earth, water, fire, space, and consciousness. None of these elements is the person. There isn't a person apart from these elements. So what is a person or a self? In the final analysis, he says it's just a label. It's just a term or a label given onto the collection of the 6 constituent elements of that person. So that's what the person is. So if you look at a person more than that, it is unfindable. Or he is unfindable, she is unfindable. Okay? But this unfindability of the person does not mean the person does not exist, because he or she does exist. Okay.
어다 지직제리다 단위세야 돼. 죽당 때문에 단 남랑 망고 싶지 요아래. 다때가도 차샤. 다디네 가르치는 다디네 마치 가르치는 대담 단위도 좀 뭐세. 좀만 니세야지 다 니유나 매나 좀만 나세야신도 돼. 좀만 내가면 사도 중에 아니 그게 제바단 현라 뜨바니 규현라 뜨바고. 다 동이 타독 됐어요. 동이 타독 돼. 라시 타독 돼 아니 그게 좀만 멤버다. 현라 미뜨바다 되게 이메이나 딱 가르치 이 돈다로 가르치기로서는 좀만 세야 돼 가르치기로서는 나면 사도 중에 아니 제바다 제 메타 세야도 야 쭉 그러와 쭉 버리다 될래 지상전에 다 동일을 떼대 쭉 버리지 자고 우리 이나야 될라 쭉 맞주 니 샤지여 봐 두중세야 지다 또 맞춘 거 터르세야 지게 내게 니 샤초가 돼 안 들어라 봐 맞주 미 지다 지 소소 따다기 천백지기 되게 링지게 돼 쭈네야 지 소셜 지다 야지 란중기 비게지 지 리스타리라고 튼튼튼데 쭈니 자 송겐지요 자내 덤치도 세브리티 얘네다 두중세야 디디 멤버인 바 제다 디센도 좀만 내가면 사도 주면 아니 제바는 현라 떠바네 주현라 떠바 주현라 메트세야 돼 땡진 대바는 주에 뚜뚜세야 게 뚜디 야주 매빈 바리 되나 뒤제 도만지 탐견게 돼 뚜뚜들이 돼 요아리 인베에나나 단다 뒤뜨 마두게 깨지티 가와히리 요잖아 주젠을 뜨 마두 똥반이디 주젠을 뜨게 좀 주젠을 뜨니 두버게 말이 대송도와 그래서 뜨바니 주젠을 뜨바 오 저래 어떤데 송도와
So the 3 qualities that the opponent propose and said characterize object of negation. So from our point of view perspective, we said those 3 qualities really do not constitute what we call what is the object of negation, because those qualities are very much present in what we call emptiness. And one of the qualities is what we call emptiness is not artificial reality. It's natural. So what is artificial? Artificial is something maybe that does not, exist now, but that could be, created and constructed later on. Then it can come into existence. That kind of a reality is what we call artificial reality. Okay. When we look at conventional phenomena, of course, it gets a little complex as we go a little more into the depth. Is that we can find in the conventional world, and there are things we call these are natural things, such as the rocks and the waterfalls, right? Of course, karma created them, but none of us went and created those rocks and the waterfalls, right? Provided they are just in the nature, right? That kind of what we call, nature is there in the conventional, world. But that nature is a result of causes and conditions. Although we humans may not have created them artificially, but those are created by causes and conditions as well. And then there are things which are created by us human beings through our efforts. The Tibetan word is called tsolwa, right? We humans make efforts to produce and manufacture all kinds of stuff, right? And these are artificially created things. We humans have created them, and of course we have created them based upon causes and conditions as well. Okay? But emptiness, shunyata, is not one of them. Okay? Emptiness is not, created by any human beings or by anybody. Emptiness is not a product of causes and conditions. So therefore, that kind of dependent arising does not apply to emptiness. Emptiness is a dependent arising. So as we said before, dependent arising has many different levels of understanding of the meaning. Okay, at the deepest level, dependent arising means coming into existence by way of terms and concepts and labeling. Okay, so that notion of dependent arising, it pervades everything that exists, and emptiness is is that kind of a dependent arising, if you will. But emptiness is not dependent arising in the sense of depending upon causes and conditions. Conventional phenomena, I should say conventional, functional things, yes, yeah, that's true. Conventional phenomena, functional things are produced by causes and conditions, whereas emptiness, the ultimate truth of the reality, is not causally produced. Okay, so it's not that kind of dependent arising. Maybe I'm wrecking your brain somewhere here, but no.
Oh yeah. 다 신 규정도 어서 솔론서 버라힌 니 애니베 칸디야 마두베 슈니라 라힌도 제베 라힌 대답이 칠 람콤바나 성주 도메바 성주 도메도 민주르바 송신 있으겠다 단지 대감게 술라 속베 니제 탐제 그러봐 공도 시험만 탁베 아니 비게지 랑게 ngo트베 라힌 마두 동일라 라힌 타둑 제베 대 뭐야 마두 뒤제 주 대다르다 술라 속베 뒤제 주 대다 마두 인타 아니다 가르쳐 버다 대니 간도요 가릉도 그러다 가릉도 마두베서 다티 줘요 말아봐 내가 인자 춘이라 라힌도 제베 라힌데 따위 칠두 술로 써보 그거야 그죠 똥만이 똥맛 당고 때 때는 팝인도 발을 저기 말한도 가리네 저기 땡도 그거 속이 나다 가리나 메타비는 담에 뒤지 메가다 가리나 저기 땡도 꿈꾸고라 속을 속바되게 꿈꾸고라 속을 속바 동시 최전 됐다 뒤에 땡기 춘이니부터 NP게 가르쳐다 동시 최전 뒤에 땡도 가자다 바꿔 춘이 돼야 나도 통구요라 봐 그주 되고요라 봐 대인도 속을 속바냐와 거고요래 내송도와 솔로서버랑 했으니까 대տր다 유튜브요 말 마두바다 춘이라 라켓 제베라 했 답이 칠두 다데 통이 칠두 답이 칠두서는다 통이 칠두 아니 비게 깔레 망고 잡 다 잔죽선 받아 아장장 드네야 람 뺀미티게 람 럽고야 드네야 람 당고 초조로 버지 잔죽을 쓴 때네 졸람라 버지 따버지 효부이나야 대담지 촉발에 민딘바 드네야 람는 럽거 타이에 버지 야네 수수 찌우이나야 람는 럽거 타이에 버지 말로바 이나 아니티 거 아니도 가가리 거래 말로베 거래 대대 그래 이 롱게지 예베이나 아니 람는 럽발 타미에 버리 람는 럽발 아니 비게지 코이 녀보도 가릴 뚜고고 알잖아 라힘메베 될 뚜고고 알이스레 단데 계속 만들어 대 라켓들은 람콤바는 가다 람티 말다 람콤베나 탕주 돈메바 민주와 송신 근데 집에 상벌주버서 이다야 제 똑깔이 담니 탕주를 냠세야라고 상벌주세야라고 되게야 깔리 담니야 지 람리안 배등이 가사티게서요래 되게 돈다 메버지 뚜바고요 되게야 대 탕주 돈메바 줄게 말해 상주 돈요아리 솔로소바 대다 그등도 내룩 통하는 배등이 기타 도도를 붙잖아 솔로소바 대다 그등도 내룩 통하는 배등이 기 디제이 가자 디제디 NP게 상주 돈메바 민주라 송버리신 와다티 송고야래.
So we are still on page 199 towards the end. Let me read the relevant lines and then translate the commentary given on that. Since forms and so forth are neither type of nature, when you speak of cultivating the path in order to view the final nature, nature has the sense of reality. Therefore, Chandrakirti says that pure conduct is not senseless, unquote. So the explanation given on that is when we look at conventional phenomena such as forms, they are neither emptiness nor intrinsically existent. Okay? They are neither emptiness nor intrinsically or objectively existent. However, we need conventional phenomena in order to be able to realize emptiness. Okay? For example, we need a basis for or a focus for our meditation. Let's say we are going to meditate on emptiness, right? So we have to have an object of meditation or a focus of a meditation basis, and that focus could very well be a form, right? And then we choose a form of whatever the object is, and then we try to analyze whether that object exists in and of itself or intrinsically or not. Okay? And so when we come to realize that it does not exist intrinsically, that's what we are refuting the intrinsic existence thing, then we are also coming to understand, right, the emptiness of that object or that form. So we do need to deal with conventional phenomena such as forms in order for us to be able to realize what emptiness is, even though the forms themselves are not emptiness, okay, and neither do they exist intrinsically. Are you with me so far? Okay. And from that perspective, according to Chandakedi, the expression used here is called the pure contact is not senseless. Pure contact in the sense of abiding by virtues or pure practices. So it's not completely useless because we have to engage in pure conduct and practices in order to be able to realize, right, different realizations in our mind. Okay? Not only as ordinary human beings, but even bodhisattvas, right? Let's say they start with the path of accumulation, then path of preparation, right? If they're already on the path of accumulation, choklam, right, they just cannot be complacent like, hey, I'm on the path of accumulation. I'm going to, just enjoy here. No, there's a long way to go, right? It is a personal choice not to engage in the path or bother with that. Then this doesn't, really is not relevant to any of those people, right? But if you do care about, right, progressing on the paths and stages, then it does matter that we should understand that first we have to make every effort to be on the path of accumulation. Then that's not enough. We have to move to the path of preparation, path of, seeing, path of meditation, path of no more learning. So it's a long, structured way to go, and making those efforts, doing our practice, keeping our vows and ethics, really, it is not, waste. It bears the fruits. No.
That's the ma yundu di tedoa. Miru sungsu. Chuna ranking order the ranking name in do patang. They are marvatanji conti sabanaki. Chu condition benaya. Ranking order the ranking name in do doos. Lubur to ranking K langbani and created Mingawa headers. Lubur to ranking say I think they are ranking mango or near target Tara mango your thing huimba. Don't need the Lubru to marry the Tomani, the Imbayinaya, the Tonki Chujan, the Quebec, the Sola Soba, Tamde, Lubru, any chung de Sadi, any Tendesi, any pig, Tirangi Rahi, but then in Mendu Bacheta, any anti Rahi, Tongi La Rahi, the Chever Rahi, Taduni, Govani, any kid, Carta, Gag Marais, as Mado, Gag Marais. Tinal de Vaya with Tavian, Deja Hago Mentua. Kelangbani Mengete, then you bet Judeles, Jundele Carson and Jubat, or Manjubagit and that's Teraba. Or Randet in Jirabata, Pandeta Water, or Manjubi, Randeles, isn't it? That in a Carasendo. The mamma was do it in the Ina Turbina Hakoma Honda. Che Mama, Mala say as rebe, Tinal.
No, need injury no.
La,
Need the injury or no.
Titi Paravata.
La in the sick tata red young and the engine duty round.
Ale, the Karasungi Unata, the Hako Mendu, Mamma Seati, Jazaki Seating, Confutar, Membetaris, Membetan with Manduni, Timatu say under with the Kanda, Chita say under with and the Tindeci, Mati, Machine, Tinde, Mare say under with Matli, Machine, Tinde, Mare. Say under the mother Leon Gurva. They say in the end, his mamma. Last and they do that. Can't you go to Jung and Mindu Jings? 간신 ngobu 중세 제 민두 신세야기 중세 대다디 담발되베 ngobu 중세 제 민두 루브르도 좀만 많이 받다 라신라 뜨바 메베 라신 신라 뜨바 메베 라신 뜨바 테네 펜두 있는 게베 동주바 기고 뜨바도 짐버 다 뜨바고 저랑 라면다 히보지 게 랭기도 갑갑라 라신지 뜨바 뒤tam에 요 마르틴 찍실 갑라는 피에 라신지 뜨바 예 춘일 라신지 라신지 뜨바데 예신 라고도 제가 인사 아니 디 그래서다 제 마마르바 민두지 루버도 좀만 멤버다 현라 또바 메베 라신 다티 동이 딘바 또바 최대의 펜두 아니 피게제 나게베 펜두 게베 줘바 식 고세베 다티 쪼바고베 형제 만들었상게 대 쪼바고베 형이선에 초구여서야 대지 송로지.
So at the bottom of page 199, this is coming from Chandakirti's auto commentary on supplement to the middle way, Madhyamika Avatar. And the objection that is being raised, first maybe I'll read it and then I will trust the explanation. The objection reads, "Alas, utterly wrong. You do not assert real things at all, but also incidentally assert a nature that is non-fabricated and does not depend upon something else. You are saying things that are blatantly contradictory." Okay, so the objection that's being raised is, is this: that on the one hand, what we're saying is there is no intrinsic nature, right? On the other hand, we also assert there is a nature, two things. Yeah. So according to this opponent, now it's making no sense. In one way, you're refuting intrinsic nature, then you're asserting a nature. So what are you doing? You're contradicting yourself. What is this? Right? That's the objection. So there is a contradiction in your position because in one way you say there is no intrinsic nature, but in another say you're talking about nature of things. And those don't go well together. Okay. The issue here is, remember that things don't have intrinsic reality or the nature. That's what is being refuted. But things do have nature. As a matter of fact, I think maybe some other day I talked about this. The Tibetan term rangshin, nature, translated, it could have many different meanings. Conventional nature of things, ultimate nature of things, intrinsic nature of things, whatever, it can mean many different things. Okay? So according to our own position, phenomena do have nature, ultimate nature, and that ultimate nature is called emptiness. And that ultimate reality of the nature is non-fabricated. It's not artificially created. And it is not an incidental reality. Maybe that's the translation they use it here. Okay, incidental means, periodically it will come up, show up, and the periodically it will disappear. Not that. Okay? But I think where really the opponent has probably, this issue is, when we look at emptiness itself, how should I say? It is not an incidental reality in that it does not pop up occasionally and then disappears at a certain period of time. However, as we said earlier, in order to be able to realize emptiness, we have to depend upon, a basis, a form, or whatever it is, right? So forms can periodically come into existence and go out of existence, isn't it? Okay. And so what about the emptiness of that form? That's the issue. So I think they're getting confused with that. Okay? Because certain form will come to exist periodically, which means that form, as that form comes into existence, it comes in the nature of emptiness, and then that forms might cease to exist completely, right? Destroyed. So they think that from that point of view, the emptiness of that form is incidental reality. Okay? That's why they're getting confused with that. Okay.
All 어디지 나중에 다티기 지금 겐두르부터 지 송바인 발레인데 다티체도 팔 렌좀만 안돼 저러부터 근데 정도였잖아 저버려 자데스 이 말씀으로 그래서는 표지 땡주 주권법 표지 땡주 주권법 말을 봐 식대 에스 다처럼 게 땡주 주권법 공도 협에 땡주의 공바 디스기 유나 다 디스레 될 중에 되게 중대의 공바던데 저랑 그 야구지 학권민도 와 직주 농산주 장가 제브리 디디 야구지 학권민도 저랑 공바 야구지 맞도 좀민도 디 공바인데 리승도 디 공바니 에네 게데 밀라속바랑 밀라속바난지 랑게고 땡진 데버는 좋아 시바소소기 에니피게 지우 송어라 잡아 임바 되니 된남제라시 난니스다 라시 타도 이나스기였다 말한도게 밀 통대야게 에니피게 밀라속베 대한 밀라속바난지 랑게고 이제 왔다티 땡진 잡아 임바지 땡진 대중 임바지 먹어지라 봐 동이 마도베 잡아서서 지우남지 셔바세수 지우기 선도 송구여러 왔다. 메다 나와다 나다 제다 속라트로 작간디나 동이 또 고야요 말이 나도 디톨 땀디 디톨 로데기여러 와. 주바 마음이 있어요. 와 뉴제 선도 이시다 땀 망고리 주바 마음이 있어요. 와. 어쨌든 디톨 로디여래. 디디게 라셰데 말했지. 라셰 타도 말했지 그래. 근데 밀로 속바 디에 땡기 디디게 땡진 잡을 용하다 거라 레디 임바이나 뒤에 저기 라신 타둑데 말이 송거다 땡진 잡을 좀 봐서서 수지우 송으로 잡아 가인 바 되는 게 라신 이나네 근데 라신 인바이나데 밀로 속베게 아니 피게 가 통바 디게디 대대디 아니 피게 라신 타둑을 버지 이나네 근데 아니 또 하버려 봐 대 라시 타도 얘네 대 똑발라 아니 비게 까득게 고요 말이 가리나 또 두고요 아래 미글 속보 가서 통 두고요 아래 가리나 잘한다 맨다 대 이제 이제 감기 까지 공도 해봐 나시 타니 그 요삭 되게 관계 비게 따락바르 따락바튼도 대땡 게 아니 대빠나 요거를 사실은 요거 좀 통두고도 와세리 요거 좀도 통받다가 된 요거 라시 비게 요거 거란 요거 라시 얘는 아니 가르쳐라테 대통 말까지 개미도아 라시 타도 대통 말까지 전부 요하레스 여기 인자 아니디 라시 이나니 라시티 친절록도 주베 땅 똑베 쳐 아니 배 상주 도움에 본 주나 또 라버라 또 라버라 또 지단잖아 디팅도 답변은 요거 잡지 사샤비나 디팅도 체주 시여라 봐 요거 메타바세 한다고 요거 찌바세 한다고 요거 쳬바세 한다고 전소 람산 요거 메타바 전소 간도 엉봉 또 두고 말아 또 두고 믿어 잘라 간디치 나바 얘네야 람산 팀 메타바 인디스네 또야 믿어 나나세 그래 메타바 찌바 쳬바 전소 라시 야라시 두두지 라시 찍을 때는 두두 라시 찍게 두두리 나세 고기였다 근데 요거 잡지 나무 있는 요걸에 샘베게 아니 메다가 나주메 세번나주메 제번나주메 제세 고기야 나세 그래 얘 또 되죠 말봐 요것도 요거 메다가 또 온다고 얘는 아니 기라게 비에 내 하고 싶지 미간게 요거 메다가 또 세초기 근데 말해서 뭐 말해 다 도도로 뒤에랑에 말해서 그래 뒤에랑에 말해서 다가 인도인 하고 또 뒤에 라시아 마이스 공과 마이스 게 멜로속 만남지 랑게랑 때진 되어져 봐서서 제가 소소지우 손으로 잡아 강에 받더니 된남지 라시아 이나네 라시아티 친절록도 줄에 땅 똑비처 상주 도움에 버리나 근데 또 라버리 로 친절록에 또 두기어래 나는 나도 줄 찍도 똑바싱이지 똑바싱이지로 다 친절에 요아래 통대 요아래 똑바싱이 맛이 거라 투시 임버래 투비 희바지래 먼저 똑베 칸직 나와디 튜저를 맞도 지게 달라 그래서 그렇다 맞으비 희바도 저 두고요 말이 똑베 튜저 똑바트 튜저래 저비 연타 아니 tundu게 또 두고요 아래 tun도 대라게 말이스 예송기 살상기다 신일로도 집에서 또 비체 상주 돈매 버려 줬나 아니 다 근데 제비는 상주 돈매 봐 문에 전에 메타바 또 봤다 또 관계 또 봤다 동리 또 벌써 배된 게 상주 돈매 봐 아니 인주나 관계스를 드니 라시 많이 받디 있어 될 따위 돈도 상주 돈 딱 그래 메타비네 통으로 따고래 근데 따비 돈도 성주 돈 요하를 맞도 저기 대통령이네 NP에 대다디 내룩이 통도고요 말이 성주 돈 매봐 그래서 성주 돈 매봐 말이 대다디 내룩다 메타발로서부터 통고요래 에신 다디 송고요 살에
No. So in response to that objection, where it says, you're blatantly contradicting yourself. In one way, you say there is no intrinsic nature. Then another say you say there is nature to things, And now in response to that objection, I think Rinpoche says that, you really basically missed the point here. Because, you got so stuck with the ordinary perceptions of realities, And so that is, ordinary sensory perceptions or the cognitive perceptions that we have, they can access, conventional nature of things, but they cannot access the ultimate nature of things. Okay, ordinary perceptions, do not see emptiness of things. Okay. Whereas you are thinking that the ordinary perceptions can access the final nature of things, if that were the case, then you were absolutely right. It would be just senseless to engage in any pure conduct. What need is there? Because it's so easy, because we perceive things, isn't it? So there's no need to make too much efforts, and there is no need to engage in path and practices. Like in the case of a sprout, we call nyugu, there are many aspects of the sprout, some of which we can perceive ordinarily, but others we don't. Okay? For example, a sprout is impermanent. We do not perceive the impermanence of a sprout. Are you with me? Sprout is a product, means it's produced by other things that we perceive, we understand. Okay? And we can perceive the arising of the sprout or the germinating of the sprout, but we do not see the impermanence of the sprout. Yeah. And so that's why we need to make efforts to access the impermanence of the sprout. We have to study, we have to meditate, we have to make efforts to be able to perceive the impermanence of the sprout, because that cannot be perceived easily by ordinary perceptions. Okay. And what is being perceived by ordinary perceptions is not the final nature of things, because it could be the conventional nature of things, Yeah. And there is a statement, I know sometimes it's difficult even to read the English translation, right? I think it's I think the term that's used here is, let me see, it's at the bottom of page 199 in the reply says, if eyes and such dependent arisings that are evident to ordinary childish beings were their own nature, then pure conduct would be senseless, because even inaccurate consciousness could know that nature. Inaccurate consciousness, I think, is the translation of what usually I would consider as, how should I put it, mistaken perceptions. Okay, the Tibetan term is chulshe. I usually translate that as mistaken perceptions, but here is translated as inaccurate consciousness. Let me explain this a little more based on Khensur Rinpoche's explanation. We, the ordinary childish sentient beings, childlike, I should say, meaning that those of us who have not directly or non-conceptually realized emptiness as it is. So our status is we are childlike sentient beings, okay, ordinary people. So we have a lot of conceptual thoughts in our mind, right? We do perceive things conceptually. Conceptual perceptions are mistaken in some ways. These are mistaken perceptions. Chulshe in Tibetan, mistaken perceptions. Why? Because they are mistaken with regard to the appearances of the phenomena. There's a generic appearance of phenomena which appears as permanent, whereas things are not permanent. My footnote again. Yeah. So with our conceptual cognitive processes, we can perceive things easily, but we are really not perceiving the final nature of things. If we are, well, then we don't need to make too much efforts, maybe we can enjoy, we don't need pure contact anymore. But that's not the case. We still need to make a lot of efforts, we have to be in search of the ultimate nature. By relying upon conventional phenomena, we still need to make a lot of efforts to realize emptiness. No.
Hola, so. Ta kawan rosonga, te tam jirba. Oh, te yang ta ke ini kundup ji tambal tu ne cuma member tan rasin la, sian la mitu ba ni tu judos. Cuma member siapa? Sian la mitu ba, sian la mitu ba siapa? Tambal ni kena le kundup tambal tu ne, thondam tambal ti, ta ti cheju tinde ji ready waris. Kundup tambal tan thondam tambal ni nane. kundup tempal tene ani thondam tempal te cheju ta ready are se ya jinjiri ta tene xian la mi tu ba ju do che ta ti ke jana bu chi ti Tenzin jama ti ha ma bu chi ga ji ra wa ani yang 강식 sendo wa 강식 집에 ani 비게 강식 집에 소소 지 따버려 잡아 많이 봐 되니 아니 다티 가르쳐 그러다 따와 잡아 많이 봐 되니 라시아 임바 렉바 땀지 통당바 ngobo 많이 칭 ngobo 매바 많이 때 되네 애니 비게 라시아지 시완이 임베처로 서기라 다 딘데게 똥이 됐어요다 간시 셔바 소소 찌우기다 가리네데 똥이디 다 지당다 모솜을 잡아이나 다 마똥게 셔바소소 요리 레비 이나야 다 용라 차는 잡이 이나 셔바소소 찌우기 따로 잡아 마임바 다자 마임바티 따와니니 다자 마임바티데 송그 말바 돈담라에 주유면 로니 근도 임바 대세니 제비인도 돈담바데 로강게야 주유면 바티 송그 매비인바데 매비인바데 가지 ngomang만 휴사로와 얘디 이나 다 단자데 따자 마임바세야 데 가르송거 알잖아 베지르체 소수지우들 퍼반남지 ngosong다 근데 소수지우들 근데 따자데 말이 소수지우 또 비네 똥이지 ngosom도 또 더비야 매비 인사 아니 가르서다 소수지우는 그 따와서 많이 받더니 라신 임바스 렉바 대담지 와다 똥이 비게 데 렉바 대담지 통당봉고 많이 벌어 ngо부 매방 많이 때 각자 ngо부 텐디지 ngо부 체베 디 ngо부디 요 말이 그러봐 ngо부 여보 요 말 ngо부 매방야 탄이도 애니 비게지 로이 비게지 작베게 사지 텐디기 탄이도 매바대야 멤버 쓴거 단데 예서도 매바 많이 되네 라히 텐디기 똥반이도 가르를 쓰게 하네 희와리 똥만이 희와리 ngong ko tempal ya hiwa se ti luburu hiwa luburu ramle yam ben luburu tu eni pike kaja luburu bat par chene ti ngokpa tala ya ani pike hiwa se gi yare chi hiwa dik to ger tongni lai hiwa se gi yare koran pike kaja tendu ki time magu be kora kaja tendu ki time magu inta kola hiwa se gi yarta hiwa se gi yar te song do ade ngо보 라신미 ngо보 매방 많이 때 라신지 아니 비게티 희와 임베처로 희송소 송도 어디다 ngо보 요바티 라신지 되베 ngо보 가르쳐 매바티 ngо보 라신지 되베 ngо보 요 말이 매바티 아니 비게티 가르쳐다 탄이도 매바야 매세네 어딘데 송도가 제비 인자 아니 그러다 대니 들어라신 희와 대니 요아리 딱 간지 춘이라신 타도 제베라신이 희와티 요아리 아직 숨기요자래.
So from the bottom of page 199 to page 200, let me read the relevant line. Further, I say that this nature, as compared to conventional truths, is non-fabricated and does not depend upon something else. So compared to conventional reality of the truths, ultimate reality of the truth is not artificially created, non-fabricated, and it does not depend upon something else, means it does not depend upon causes and conditions. emptiness is a dependent arising. It does exist dependently. Okay? But that dependent arising has a different understanding. In this particular case, when we say that it does not depend on something else, it means it does not depend upon any other causes and conditions. Okay? Because emptiness does not. Okay? Only something that ordinary childish beings do not see is suitable to be the nature. What we are really talking about here is a little bit cryptic here. Is when we deal with the ultimate nature of things, that is not something perceptible to ordinary sentient beings like us. Okay? Emptiness is here posited from the perception of transcendental beings, or the Aryas. Okay? Aryas are the transcendental beings who have gained non-conceptual direct experience in emptiness. They see emptiness as it is, whereas we ordinary beings do not see it as it is. Okay? But that doesn't mean that we ordinary people will never be able to see emptiness, right? Because, there is nothing, because Buddha did not teach that, right? Because as ordinary beings, we can make efforts, we can purify our delusions, and then we can see the emptiness. It is something we could see, but at the moment we don't see it. Only the transcendental beings of the Aryas see it. Okay? Therefore, the ultimate is neither a thing. Therefore, the ultimate nature or the final nature of things is neither a thing, means it's neither intrinsic thing, neither an intrinsically existent thing, nor a non-thing. Nor a non-thing means it. Nor it does not. It's not that it does not exist conventionally. It does, as a matter of fact, it does exist conventionally. It is a conventional thing. So by nature, it is simply peace. Usually, we talk about a peace with regard to the state of cessation, right? Once we apply antidotes to our delusions, we get rid of the delusions, then we actualize the state of cessation, which is a state of peace. Okay? But in this case, the peace is also, attributed to the emptiness, the ultimate nature of things. Peace in the sense that the word peace, Shiva, has the sense of pacification, free of something. So in this particular case, emptiness is free of intrinsic characteristics. See, it is pacified off. If we can kind of elaborate on that, emptiness is is pacified off or free of intrinsic fabrications. Okay. No.
That is here. There is no you mean in some of the cups any here, but ranking no per se. You but ye meba that is huge song, huge. Tata Chunam ranking over to the ranking to Tamia any picket maybe 10 la pabe ranking keys. Do Tamia maybe 10 la pabe ranking to Tomba Nini and picket suki. So should that Chehiri Cheve thing to Chejo, so any logic you do Tinga Yubala, any Niga Yuba Migations, that is Mugata. Pana Yati Tisungata or De Karasa Tata Chudam, yes, Tadarava, Tata Chudam, the ranking over to the ranking. That do it me but is Panentaveki any piggy, Hiba Unamena. Jelaman Tinema, around the Panitenua, Hiba Unamana, Chunam Tamje. Rahi Drubatinity, do it me may send the song de Orava, read the Rava. Odi, do it me may but 10 la pabes. That is Tempe Figu, you are Maten Panima, Pango Pablo Ludu, that's my. That's not good tarring which because Saja Tubanima, my Tola Juice my Tenma, Pabdi or is it? Then I have a Rahi, Tongi 10 is it? That is Rahi, do it me mebati, do it me maybe in that day, Kajati maybe get Tongi 10. And Tongi Jorvata, then in Sugnamji any Susonamji, Susonam, so chun that Chechi thing to Cheju on Yube. Logic Yula Teni Yuba Mengations, Gig Marisong, Logic you do, Tombani Dan T, Teju, Kartovat, Tonki Chujeni, the logic you do, Gig Maris. 근데 그게 말했으는 따디 가르쳐서 따 균이 체주라고 이제 자국도 체주야 지어라 왔다. 나는 아주 자기 대한 사실이나 분반으로 이제 사위나 얘는 체신으로 이제 다 분배 메다봐 분배 제바사 분배 추도서 분배 샵세야 돼 체주 그렇지 나도 체주 자당 어떻게 마치 체주 생인데 관련다 명부터 시바면서 라마 망부마부지 요래 이래도 이미야 다들 그래 때문에 빼나 속지 땡이 똥반이 있다 속다부터 체주레스 속다부터 애니 체지샤 똥반이도 뒤 체주서 하고도 체주레스 대제원도 발 소수 그게 똥반이 용숨도 똑바 많이배 똥이 용숨도 또 많이배 돈지 투지 똑바 로트도 유리야 아니 그게 다 속을 작아서라 봐 속다부터 아니 그게 속지 땡이 똥반이 얘기 땡이 이 유디요 발은 개개미도 야 똥이 되네 야 로야 검니 똥이 용숨도 똑바 로르지 좀 리소나 아니 똥기 주제 난게 매배입니다 다들 똥기 주제 똥이 코나 철 쉬샤버터 그게 남바마도 저라 tel라 똥기 주제한테 난게 똥이 용숨 똑바인다 똥이 용숨 똑바 대마도 마 돈지 주제 그 될까 그러나 니나에 요래 똑바도 보인다 니나베 니나가 저 타다 히와디 똥이 코나도 니나 히버 해디 얘네야 되게 로데기 니나 주 해디요 말이 로데라 니나 요래 니나 요래서는 그 돈지당 요래 돈지 돈도 나데 나도 저기 마차지 나도 망준디 돈도 나비 로질 야고 요래 제가 인자 드는 게 말이에요 제가 인자 딱게 마송아 속답을 차게 속에 땡 속에서 똥반이냐보던 게 말이 속이 체질이 똥이 답이 대 체주리 제가 인자 대똑백에 NP게 돈지 투지 똑바뒤에 유라 체시 속대다 체주 똥반이디 유바디 게게 민두 다 도도 tisung이서래
We are on page 200 and it is I think the second paragraph which begins with now when you as an ordinary being determine that phenomena etc. Okay, explanation given on that is as we said that emptiness could only be established upon certain basis. And that basis could very well be any kind of a form, if you will. That's why oftentimes we can talk about form and emptiness, right? Emptiness and form. Okay. So it is possible for form and emptiness to coexist for certain perceptions. They don't have to contradict each other in the sense they don't have to invalidate each other. It is very possible that form and its emptiness, could really harmoniously, if you will, coexist for certain perceptions. And as a matter of fact, when we, engage in the study and, practice of emptiness, we go through this process, if you will, that initially we would realize emptiness conceptually, right? There's a conceptual realization of emptiness. So let's say, we are focused on a form and its emptiness, and we realize the emptiness of the form conceptually. For that conceptual state of mind, form and its emptiness exist harmoniously together. Okay, there is a dualistic appearance. In reality, emptiness itself is free of dualism. But at least from the subjective point of view, still there is a dualism here, isn't it? Okay. And so as we engage in our practice and we sort of remove the layers of that conceptual dualism, once we gain direct experience into emptiness, non-conceptual experience emptiness, just like the Aryas or the transcendental beings, at that stage, okay, we do not see the form, but just its emptiness. At that point, it is as if form and its emptiness, do not coexist or appear to that perception. What we only perceive is the emptiness of the form, not the form, because that perception is free of dualism. Are you with me? Okay. So that's the main point that we are trying to make here. For example, as ordinary beings, a lot of our perceptions are conceptual perceptions, understandings. So in the conceptual perception, there's always dualism exists in it. The dualism in this case is we get the generic image of an object. Tibetan term is called Tenzin. Okay, we don't necessarily see the real object, but we get the image of that object in our mind. And then our mind really considers that image as the object itself. And that is the confusion, isn't it? That's the mistaken part. Because the image of the object and the object are two different things, But in our perception, we regard the image of the object as the object. That's the dualism. That's the conceptual part. Okay? But that could be removed, through practices. In the case of emptiness or realizing impermanence, right? As we talked about this, we're looking at a vase, or maybe my water bottle is easier, right? My water bottle, it has many qualities, characteristics. It is impermanent, which we don't perceive it. It is a product we know, they bottle the water, they produce it, okay? So as this water bottle appears to our perception, many other qualities might appear as well, but that does not mean we perceive every qualities of the water bottle. For example, we don't perceive the impermanence of this water bottle, okay? Okay, did I miss anything else here? No.
디르다디 비디슈네 데가디. 그래서 대니까 요바 민게 진스 니한테 말록베 니한테 말록베 똥이 달라 돈덤 땜바 딱바바 힌주로 쓰르다 딱바바 힌주로 쓰르다 다 인지날 걸라뷰네 매나 델리 송이도와 딘데게 애니 지금 게게 말이 다디 통지주비 또고 희야지 열다 공좀도 또고 많이 뭐 통지 또고 희야지 그래서 그 니나요 알이 똑바텔라 니나 요디요 니나 로요 말이 똥이란다 니나 두바타다 데베데디나 니나 로요 말이 니나 로베 매베인다 딘데게 똥이 또야 그 똥이 달아 애니 비게지 애니 비게데 통덤 땜바 바 땜바니 샤윤디 발라 다리 트라큐릭스네 민두 딱바 완주로 신네데 다 통덤 땜발은 저기 뭐 히라요 남랑 바통디서 남랑 마임베 시안다부터 레 망보 요리 때 단데 송줄 제압이나 근데 통덤 땜바디 아니 통덤 땜바 딱바와 레신 송교아레스 뭐야
So we're in the third paragraph from the top on page 200. Where it reads, for such a consciousness, all mistaken appearances stop. Mistaken appearance here means the appearance of intrinsic existence where there is no intrinsic existence. I think it's very important for us to keep in our mind that the kind of perceptions that we're talking about here are the dualistic perceptions or conceptual perceptions. For such perceptions of ours, right, form and its emptiness could coexist harmoniously, okay? Because at times we get the image of the form and we regard that image of the form as the form, and that is a dualism in itself, okay? But in the case of non-conceptual or direct perceptions of emptiness of the form, there is that not problem, because that direct perception of the form, it is free of dualism, okay? And so here, what we're really talking about is, the emptiness, which is the final nature of a thing, is asserted as a non-product, is a permanent phenomenon, okay?
다가 있어. 다가 샤야가 이네 한 남바도 더네. 와지 동대선에 메도 릉롱데 야 송로 제스 다다 까마카히스도. 한 매베 있는 마트운데 기러봐. 식디 다가 다가 샤가 있어. 되게 안데 가가래도 와. 돈돈 담바 딱 뽑은 요로 시트 샤바 있어.
And so we will stop there today, and of course we welcome your observations, your questions, or if you need to clarify anything. So I think this is a good time we can use it, right, to be able to engage in discussions now. Okay. Annie has the phone, the mic. Sorry. Anybody? Yeah. Okay, the pen ones, and yeah, we will send it this way. First Rena, then to the PEM, then
Now
to
we are-
back to, yeah.
Hi. Okay, it's unclear for me which is the substrata.
Okay.
When they're speaking about substrata here,
Mhm.
in some areas it seems like the substrata is the form, and in other areas it seems like the substrata is the emptiness of the form.
yeah.
Which one is the substrata?
It's the form. In the Tibetan, it's the form, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, substrata is the form upon which the emptiness is established. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The Quran is the inji chikjorwa. The did what Keshi Kejoson Jorwa.
라.
Keshi Kejo says Jorwa.
어.
Says on Keshi Delia, Injin Alcon substrata skewed the one. The Moras the Zamzamlia, Keshi the Su in Bessor, Zamzam the Keshi the Tongi in Buchados, and the Marella, and the Peja Shunalia, Keshi the Su, or Kejo the Tongi Showers.
어리리리.
Yeah.
어리리.
That's right.
So
다들
like
단다
a
속을
basis?
잡으러 마도 가다 갈라.
Yeah.
자야 여러분.
So that substrata could be anything. We use form as an example, right? Any phenomenon that you use as a basis for establishing emptiness is what's called substrata, or Tibetan call it keshi basis. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Where are you on page? Yeah. Right. Where are you on page? 200. Okay. Okay, give me the.
You find that emptiness of intrinsic existence, is an attribute of the phenomena such as form that serve as its substrata. Maybe it should be serves.
Okay, let me see. Yeah, let me read that part. Is this the third paragraph from the top? It says by accustoming yourself to, right? That section, right? You're reading. Okay. You will know it by the first such concept.
No, it's the one before that.
Oh, the one before that. Sorry. Okay. Now, when you find an emptiness is an attribute of the phenomenon, such as form, that serves as it's referred to the emptiness. Substrata refers to the form. In the Tibetan, right? Yeah, yeah. Emptiness is the attribute. Yeah. Okay. So that's serves as, you're right. That serves as, right?
So emptiness is the substrata, not the form.
No. The emptiness is the attribute. Form is the.
No, it says attribute that serves as its substrata. So it's called.
Wait a minute. Is an attribute of the phenomenon. No, is an attribute of the phenomena, such as form, that serves as.
Its substrata. So emptiness is an attribute that serves as its substrata.
It's really, yeah. The right, yeah, that's right. I think you're reading right. The Keshi Kejo show,
라.
the Keshi the Kejo says,
Lari.
the quality. Once the Yudan, there's Goa Kabusu,
아차차차.
yeah, I think both on what Khensur just said, is that when we talk about realizing emptiness or making efforts to realize emptiness, we have to find some basis, right? That in Tibetan is called the keshi, is the basis upon which emptiness as an attribute, right, is established and try to understand. Okay, so that's the basic meaning. So I don't know how to deal with this translation here. Yeah. Okay.
What is the term that you use in the Tibetan text for substrata?
Keshi. Yeah, in this particular case. Yeah, keshi means basis. If I literally translate it, Kejo is the characteristic attribute. Keshi is, that which possess that characteristics. It is the basis,
Translate it again.
Yeah.
Keshi means
Keshi means, I usually keshi translate as a basis, right? And the kejo means the characteristics or the attributes of that basis. So in this particular case, emptiness is the attribute and the form is the basis. If you use form as an example here, right? We could use any other phenomenon. Yeah. No, that is wrong.
어야. 다 아마.
Oh.
You started with saying that emptiness has three qualities. And I wrote down the first quality as being not artificial reality, empty as natural, not causally produced. What are the other two?
Okay. Kurang this is what 가장 the kejesum 자체 kejesum the 아니 각자 문제 전에 디기면도 동반이를 계속 좀 상고도 좀 보러와.
리리리.
제가 계속 숨난 뭐라 계속 숨데 디니모 뭐지 뭐라 진대나면도 와다. 데데 나군키 여러와. 계속 숨데 양조 숨으로 제사 다 계속 당고디 동반이디 안에 쥐마 많이 버렸어.
쥐마 많이 봐.
계속 니에바데 동반이디 안에 가서 시행을 땡요 말씀.
시행을 또 봐매 봐.
또 봐매서와. 다 숨바드 가르래서 보다. 계속 숨으라고 와라.
가와도.
계속 숨세.
다 거렌디 매비 해버다다. 가야 저기 막안도. 다 아니 라신 타도 돼야 dimbre.
알라란시도.
라신 타도 타도 맞잖아요. 라신 망고 여러 봐. 근데 매 타와티 매 라신 있어 국적으로 봐. 제비인다 라신 타도 돼야 자고 요더래.
Okay. So the three qualities that are attributed also that the emptiness has is number one, as it's not artificially created. It is unartificial or non-artificial. And it does not depend upon cause and conditions, not that can depend arising. And the third one is the final nature of things. Okay, yeah.
What about according to the first definition there? That presumably was misquoted. Going back to the very beginning of the chapter, it says that. It says that intrinsic nature. Well, according to Rinpoche, that was a misquote. The opponent is talking about intrinsic nature as being not produced, which is not artificial. Its condition is immutable, and it's posited without depending on some other phenomena. Now, according to Rinpoche, this is a misquote. That actually what the text, the fundamental treatise refers to is emptiness.
That's right.
Right?
Right, that's right. Yeah.
Now, first of all, I just wanted, it puzzles me that nowhere does Jetsun Kappa says that. You know, in fact, he accepted the quote as
Quote is valid,
as
right.
valid, not as mistaken.
Well, no, the quote is valid, but where the opponent thought that quote really talks about three qualities of the object of negation. And Rinpoche says, no, that doesn't apply to the object of negation. Those are the qualities of the emptiness, you know. So you misquoted it, you know, and related it to the object of negation. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the point, yeah. And they quoted it right, but they have interpreted it for the object of negation, which Rinpoche says that's not the point, because emptiness has all these qualities. So are you going to refute the emptiness? That's the point.
Okay, but all right, but in this the chapter deals not with emptiness. The chapter from the fundamental treatise deals with essence or nature. This especially with this intrinsic nature.
Right.
It doesn't deal with emptiness.
Okay, yeah.
So how could it be referring to emptiness?
Okay.
Nagarjuna didn't mean it to.
Okay, how could they? Good. Okay, I got your point. How could he mistake it for? Right here. Kurang this some da kazang ma keje sum ji sum ba wa ka de cha she ge lung de ji chang song wa
wen ba
je ju ga ya da kan je je mo ji song chen na an kirang ge lung de da tak da chang ba de she de lo ba ja ba res kan san di gak she gi an keje she ge ya ma res keje sum de tong ba ni le sang ge yor sum ba wa
리리.
la wa je ju kurang sang ge je zan di lung de lo ba kan chang si kan san tan da de le ya 지도가 각종 문제 제베 카드로와 동바니 셰베 카드 마로와 제 마로와서다 각종 문제 제베 카드 이제 그 롱도 로바 칸데 스탄스 버렸어다
마이 롱로 빠 탄스 죠 마이
롱 로바 롱 대세 로바 칸데 스티브
롱 대세티 코랑 하마 거라 봐 그러니까 대 고불로도 그 라세 단이 주민 단스에네 그게 가르쳐 봐티 셰여라 봐 티셰 운디 발라 때그 동바니를 가르쳐 봐라 티 창디어래 각자의 라신 단이 주민 단세야 말이 동반이래 티 창디어래 또 용난 그래서나 zempa nga du zempa le kunda de hengi ni tin yin do kunda to ma yung yo re de kunda re de kunda de bige de machine de dong yi lai chang yo re ma ji den de ji yin zu chung le kunda re kunda ge tin ju ji de ka be ge en bige hengi ge zempa le kan nu ge mi du che ne de pa ka yo re
I think what happened was because in that quote of the Nagarjuna, the term Rangshin nature comes up. So the opponent who have cited, he took the Rangshin to mean the intrinsic nature, intrinsic nature. And so therefore he said those are the attributes of intrinsic nature. Whereas that nature, is really is the final nature of emptiness. So that's why the word has been, missed.
So my question is, in what way is emptiness, for example, satisfies the third condition? It's positive without depending on some other. In what way is emptiness posited without depending on some other phenomena? What is the meaning of it?
Okay, yeah. Alada jaza kona diku da kisi di keje sunde tongba ni le jabe ina tongba ni de ene keware that the kewa lose love the pose kewa chen and she la mother ba se wa tong ba ni de she la mother ba se wa ji de sun la the kewa de she la mother ba se de ko den de kan de len go wo sa
아래 때 제일 맞아요. 세야데 규제 제일 맞아요. 돼. 제일 규비 봐. 동반이디 가르쳐 거다.
kewa san
개와이 지 아유 마요. 개와이 이제 세투그 말이 동반이디 개와이 이세야. 지단에는 개와들 희자로 봐. 동담배 개와 아니 가르쳐 통된지 개와 꼴론지 개와 뭐니 개와 제리. 동담배 개와 샤윤데 발로 배제날 가르쳐 좀 공된데 동담배 개와 이세래. 동담배 개와된 공된티가 그래. 오야. 대체도 개와래 망보야래 롱마땡래 망보야래 아니 대체인데 그 몇 개월에 망보여도 동반이디 개와 이게 말해서
no let me try to find where is that wording can you read back to me the third that quality
the opponent says intrinsic nature has three attributes.
Right.
The attributes Rinpoche
Right.
was explaining to Pam about. Causes and conditions do not bring it into being. It's not artificial. Its condition is immutable, permanent, and it is positive without depending on some other phenomenon.
it says it is positive right
Yes, it is positive without depending.
a positive without right yeah what is allow the ngare sikwe de ko cha de yang men nge kewa la men do sun bi da diksa ko no te do positive se dire so what it means is positive without depending upon something else right as we said this goes back to the three different understandings of dependent arising Pratitsamutpat okay one understanding of dependent arising is depending upon causes and conditions right and so emptiness is not that kind of dependent arising. It does not depend upon causes and conditions. That's the meaning here. Emptiness is a dependent arising. It does exist dependently, but at a level of what we call imputation in terms and concept. Yeah.
This sense of dependence is actually, it's implied in the first. Causes and conditions do not bring it into being. So it would be repetitive, makes no sense.
Oh, you mean the artificial thing?
Yes, artificial. So that refers to something entirely different altogether.
Right.
So what is it?
I disagree with that. Like you see, the kabdu delia, and she la mother be said, the Kujan la mother Java in Nerwa, the Diktama delia, Chuma mind was laberwa. Chuma mind be de shade, any young to the general Chuba mother school, I don't could do Jen Sagmarvasa.
자그마레스 쭈마세야데 알아든 지den감래야 지 속으로봐야 직소리야 직소니야 나도 변했다지 잘하고 소비나 야 쭈그러와 돼야지 그냥 과대도 카가래 있동아 쭈마세야 되다 아니 비게지 가서다 주제는 맞도버지 아니 데스 카가래
So I see the here the artificiality has to do with something artificially created by us human beings. So it's not a human creation. Reality is not a humanly constructed creation thing. Not, so I think the next one is the dependent arising causes and conditions. Yeah. Because we human beings can create many artificial things, right? So emptiness is not one of our human beings created artificial things. Yeah. Yeah, sure.
But for the sake of preciseness, there is no, I use the word artificial, but it's not in the quote. I just, there is no sense of being artificial. The artificiality doesn't, this is something we are introducing. So it says, causes and conditions do not bring it into being. So the artificial, whether it's artificial or natural, is really not the issue at all.
Yeah.
So that doesn't clarify the thing.
Yeah, according to the Khensur explanation, the artificial is, explained in terms of, it's not something we humans have artificially created like a garden, or he didn't use the example of gardens or waterfalls or something like that. It's not one of those,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with that. That's not the issue at all. The issue is that what you Rinpoche has just said is the third sense that it's positive without depending on some other phenomena means that it's not produced or it's not
dependent on
causes and conditions. And that sense is implied in the first point. So that means that this third point has something entirely different. That gloss is not depending on causes and conditions. Is not what is meant. So
I got your point. Yeah, what are you saying? Yeah, Quran some of this that can say Chema Maimba said the Shukden la Sorowa. This just a Kujan Cheba Maimba Kugu Sadesrova. The Yuma in any orderly, Mademba said the Kuda Kian Mademas Lab and could do Jin Chayung or didn't do 다 숙된을 저러 다 단데 좀 많이 벌어 저러 와 기저로 좀 많이 벌어 돼 간저 다 기비 체는 좀 많이 벌어 거로 와 얘네 숙된라 야 유다 깽이 맞게 벌어 중거 와 딘데지로 거바 이나 안 되고 그다다 시야나 맞아 벌어 저러 와 디 규ген 쓰디 안고 되gen 창을 차고 도사 거 된데나 야
야고도 제비 인사 아니 주말에야 돼 나랑도 대바다부터 차 잡이나 대바달라 주말에야 찍다 야 주말 많이 배 대바세야 찍 니 경도 와 주말 세운디 발라 제 갈다 그래 현지 답변아 제 저번에는 현지 달때는 그때 제선 비게 현지 달때는 야제 라야 쭈니 야 쭈니 야제 로텔 야제 쭈니 야제 시야지 여러 봐 호텔라 주마스 그래 주메 로스 그래 될 맵에 다지 갈도라다 란치기 비게 당복 코란이 쓰려면 뒤에 겨와르버지 차 제운도 좀 많이 보게 대바세야 돼. 드레니 거기도가 돈이 제단 줄 제단 받대 제 누구이나 저도 见了 대베를 받고 저도 见了 대베 마도 저기는 독재산이 야윤데 가르치겠다. 예, 가가 하고 여러 봐. 빠나 년례기 풍부 땡도 가르치고 그러잖아. 아, 세바적게 독자적이 하고 그래. 메타비 독자적이 하고 그래. 메타버데 제바에 제바데 메타바에 레디 인베이나 독재산이 있던데 봐.
No. I think maybe probably the Tibetan term chema, which I also translate artificial because going back on this one, maybe I think probably the better translation seems not based on his more explanation is contrived, because when we think in terms of cultivating faith, right, we can contrive our faith based upon Guru's instruction and learning, right? Okay, now you imagine this Buddha is here, right? That's a contrived one. But once you have done it, it comes naturally inside you. So that's the non-contrived faith. So in this sense, emptiness is a non-contrived, reality, not something, I think that seems like a better word than artificial, because you're right. In artificial, ultimately, he says, if you go back, then it comes to not artificial created by causes and conditions, and then it comes like a replication, yeah. So I think it's a translation problem, somehow. Okay, thank you very much there, and we will stop. And go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah. No, it doesn't matter. It could be same.
Okay, there's we say sometimes phenomena are mere labels, and sometimes we say phenomena are merely labeled. It seems like that. I mean, what's going on there?
I think in the Tibetan talk about taxa means mere labels. Phenomena are mere labels. Ultimately, it's just a label. There's nothing, no substance to be found. Taksam, the Tibetan words. Yeah, mere. Tak is label. Sam means mere. Merely label or mere label. I don't know the difference. Yeah. What difference comes through your mind?
Well, it's quite different because if phenomena are mere labels, then when I say chair should pop out of my mouth, like boom, there's chair right there. So that doesn't. Well, what merely label.
Merely label means okay. Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, in that sense, I think it's merely labeled. It works better in English, right? In your sense, yeah. Ale dida di sa chigi onzo taksam se jero wa taksam se jero wa taksam se jero wa la on di pyoge na taksam se de kan de do la ta konza kan sen ngan zo inji judan se jero wa mo re kodan del di ko go wa kise taksam ina pe na ngan zo di chokse de taksam ina han ngare khane chokse sa la ba da chokse drup go ngero cha go do se go da mo re mo re khane ne chokse la ne chokse drup go ngen jero wa kubja la no kubja khane la ma ne shi khoran 용공을 나와샤고 있어와 따따와를 라디 비게 시르 비게 여버 대파 따와 나와 다디 인지 도단데 되자 그래서 얘들 랭용면도
따발 때게 라레 시스타 시기 사와치기 말이더래 지금 말봐 라레 시스 그런 돌룩이 비게 딱지 문 가르쳐 그렇다 딱히고 딱히 타마지 고기 아래 그러봐 근데 유이티 제 뽐보로 저거서나 제 지금 좀 맹게 방구 보고 찍라 오그 말아 딱히들 오 마송아 근데 그전에 딱히 문에 디과리스
Like even when we say that in the Tibet, they say that everything is merely label or mere labels, there has to be basis for labeling. It's not simply like we say, for example, if I just label the copper as a gold, it's not going to be gold, because the basis has to be valid, So there has to be basis. It's not like anything comes out of our mouth will be the truth, That's the sense, Lamando Gumbo Jun Jambe Yang Kange Loju Chinyan Tinde Yinda Namda Rasebe Chinyan Dungo Jishin Sije Nije Tuwa Leban Kanda Sibe Zunra Mari Mundong Dungen Gisebe Dozo Kanla Buje Yala Doju Yangden Song Doda Chero Nyemo Nyelo Leje Chado Mari Mense Dungen Nyugo Chinyan Chunze Radina Dune Daje Saju Tatong Yenden Lunzo Jase Tuyu Gu Chuda Chuda Chuni Talu Muse Jambe Yala Omara Bazana Omara Bazana di Zenden Chuji Kera Vuse Yen Talu Temo Mimba Rapsene Kada Lodo Bove Nawan Zendo Zo Denba Nyame Denjo Sedan Lodo Tome Bendu Chuji Dibam Gara Yabje Songa Ba Dende Gile Seve Bedo Chanjo Ningo Shebe Shunglan Je Nanda Sudin Sumje Lede Namjan Cheje Nyamdo Chebe Bande Lame Shabla Sowa De Chudu Chebe Kera Nyamda Dogun Dobe Semje Je Sanwa Rini Nenjo Laju Losan Kyanden Bebe Bedo Je Nyingma Maye Randa Chite Kigu Mesu Tongwa Digon La Keden Beze Guzo Yangdu Sunan Bendo Nyujo. So can you do in English Manjushri prayer? O fearless Savior and Supreme Teacher Shuddhodana's Son, all the 17 masters and adepts, Nagarjuna and Asanga and so on, O Dipankar as well as Sovereign Father Tsongkhapa, gloriously appear here to the grand auspiciousness. On the great path leading to the heart of enlightenment, you have traversed by means of the perfect threefold discipline and have enhanced ever higher the realizations of the enlightened quality. O glorious Guru, we offer our supplications at your feet. Pray return gloriously to propagate the teaching of Lobsang by tying well the sash of monastic disciplinary precept and generating the altruistic intention to free all beings. Engage in the Tantric yogas of the two stages. Think of the unbearable pain of the sentient beings who are enveloped in the forces of 5 degenerations and to open wide the lotus grove of the Buddha's teaching. May your reincarnation appear soon as a source of merit for us.
Nam mô Vô Song Cứu Độ Chí Tôn Bổn Sư Tịnh Phạn Thái Tử. Nam mô 17 cao tổ chư hiền thánh tăng long thọ vô trước. Nam mô Dipakara cùng Tôm Cơ Pa Tôn Vương Tử Phụ. Quang lâm đương chốn hiện tại hiện tiền ban truyền phước nhủ. Thênh thang đạo lộ trực chỉ chân tâm kiến tánh đẳng giác. Ngài đã siêu vượt do nghiêm túc giữ ba tạng giới luật, rồi lại phát huy bay bổng tuyệt vời Bồ đề hạn chứng. Tôn sư quang vinh thứ chúng thỉnh cầu ngó sen lễ lại, xin mau trở lại quang huy truyền bá giáo pháp lô sang, bằng sự thắt chặt đai giới nghiêm minh thiền môn tự viện, rồi lại khởi tâm từ bi đại nguyện giải thoát chúng sanh, tin chuyên hành trì du già mận đệt nhị phần chứng đắc. Xin luôn thương tưởng thống khổ bất kham ba cõi hữu tình, thường bị bao phủ trao đảo khôn nguôi mãnh lực ngũ trược, đưa tay rộng mở bát ngát vườn sen giáo lý Phật Đà. Xin mau tái sanh nhanh chóng hiện hành phước nguồn tứ chúng.
Tenzin